Hi guys, it's Sam here with Bargain.hunting.blonde, and today I am bringing to you a review of the service Rebag. So Rebag doesn't get as much attention as Fashionphile or The RealReal, but it's very similar. So a little history on Rebag. A long time ago, they started out as Trendly, and Trendly I ended up purchasing from through Tradesy actually, and it was a Monsieur Gabrielle bag, and this was when Monsieur was really hot and it was really hard to find, so I purchased through them. They then went from being Trendly to Rebag with two G's, and now they are just Rebag. Their dust bags have kind of changed over the years. They went from being black with Trendly on them to yellow with Rebag on them. They now look like this white one with Rebag on it in black writing. Rebag is, like I said, very similar to Fashionphile and The RealReal, so it's not like eBay. So they take all their own pictures of the goods, they authenticate all the goods, and they are their own platform, so no third party. Like, I send my bag to them, they take the pictures and put it up, so I'm not putting up my own pictures and selling it more like a Tradesy or an eBay. So it is like a Fashionphile and a RealReal. Now let's go into the pros and cons of Rebag. So I have, again, trying to be eco-friendly, put them all on my phone, and sometimes my phone likes to turn off, so I apologize if I end up looking down a lot because I'm trying to open my phone again, and I do not have I do have the phone that has the face opening, but I do not use it. When you work in tech and in privacy, you don't use a lot of things. So let's start out with kind of a bag that I want to talk about my pros with. So that is my beautiful, let me close it, Lambskin Urban Spirit backpack, which I did buy from Rebag. You guys will have seen the reveal on this. I think the video went up in March. I'll link it up below, up above and down below. But this is lambskin leather. I love lambskin with the very shiny silver hardware. It is in really good condition, especially for lambskin, because you'll see there's a little bit of creasing, and that's very common with this bag in general, but also with the lambskin because it is softer. I just love lambskin. So pro number one, using this bag as an example. Rebag is very into authenticating their goods, and every purchase that you make from them comes with this little envelope, which at first you're going to think, oh, that's like the receipt. It's not. It is actually an authentication card saying that your bag is authentic, and you'll see on there it has a picture of like the sticker and of the bag, and it says on here the Rebag ID, the serial number, the brand, and the model. So this is really great. I always keep it in the bag because I feel like it tells you a lot about the bag, and it's great if you're going to resell this bag in a future time period and it didn't come with, say, with Chanel with the authenticity card, but you have this, and I find that's really, really helpful. Also, Rebag purchases, especially if they're coming from a store, come with the Rebag Tag, which again has more information on it. So there's two. So you can see where they got the yellow from. They still have their yellow in certain parts of their branding, and then the Rebag Tag. So the nice thing about this tag is it tells you how much it costs as the buy now price, and then it tells you how much you can exchange it for later, which is very similar to Fashionphile. So if you get a bag and there's a 6 months, you get at least 70% of the purchase price back. So for example, I did not actually pay the full price on the back of this card because we'll get there, but Rebag has lots of sales. So the buy now price was $2,690, and then the purchase back price was $1,895. So you kind of know going into it what you're going to get back if the bag doesn't work for you, and I really like that. I think that's nice because sometimes you love a bag, but you realize it just doesn't work for you, and sometimes you end up losing a ton of money, so it's nice to know like how much money you are going to be losing on a bag. So that's pro number one, is kind of their whole tagging process and their authentication card that comes with the bag. Number two, I find that they have much more of a curated selection than Fashionphile and The RealReal. So oftentimes their bags are going to be better condition, even if they're rated their lowest, which is fair. So their rating system goes from pristine to excellent to great, very good, good, and fair. If I remember correctly, this bag was listed as very good, and as you can see, it's in really, besides this little crease right here, it is in very, very good condition. The hardware is just stunning. The inside has like no marks in it, and this is lambskin. So like you would expect there to be tons of corner wear. There's not. You would expect there to be wear on, like more wear on the back of the bag. And like, guys, I have used this bag since I bought it, so probably anywhere you're seeing is me. It was in really, really good condition for the rating that it was in. So I would say that even when you're getting something that's on the lower end of the scale, like a fair or a good, it's still going to be in a lot better condition than some of the bags that you see on Fashionphile. If you've ever tried to sell to Rebag, they have very high standards, and they show you all their standards before you can even submit the bag to get a quote. So like, they'll ask like corner wear, hardware wear, structure wear. Like, they're very, very detailed, and they show you pictures of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. So I find even their fare is a lot better than some of the bags can be on Fashionphile. And of course, that can mean that their price is more expensive. It just really depends, but they have much more of a curated selection than Fashionphile or The RealReal, who are going to take those more kind of worn vintage bags and either list them lower, or like with Fashionphile, sell them on their outlet. Rebag doesn't do that. So I find that even if you're getting fair good, it's in a lot better of condition than I have expected it to be in, which is great. 3 is their packaging. So this is actually going to be a pro and a con. I have bought a pretty good amount from Rebag. When I find that the item comes from the warehouse, it is packaged much, much better. But then this bag, and we'll go into in the con section, came actually from a store, and so I found the packaging was a lot different depending on where it was coming from. They do have really high quality dust bags, which I really, really appreciate. This dust bag is really nice and thick. RealReal, I'm looking at you. I do not like your dust bags. I always put my bags in other dust bags when they come from the RealReal because they're such bad quality. I would say that these are on par with a dust bag either from a fashion house or Fashionphiles. I find them a little nicer than Fashionphiles, but pretty nice dust bags. So packaging, I would say, is good. They don't have all the like confetti in it that Fashionphile does, but I'm fine with that because that stuff just gets everywhere. And it's fun like the first time you order from Fashionphile, but after that it is like pretty annoying, I'm not gonna lie. And the most important, so number 4 of the pros for buying from Rebag, they have amazing sales. If you guys saw my Birkin video, which I'll link up above and down below, I got that bag for 15% off. 15% off on a Birkin that was already below retail because it's pre-loved. So their sales generally go, when they have good sales, between 10 and 15%, and they are open on all goods. I haven't seen one that has limitations. I'm sure there are some sales that do. They also routinely have sales that are, you know, get $100 off, $1,000 or something like that. Those sales are good, especially if you're after a hot item and you kind of need to buy it now. But if you can kind of watch something and wait, those 10 to 15% off sales are amazing, and I would highly, highly recommend. Now onto the cons. Like every platform, there are cons. My biggest pet peeve, which actually might have changed since I bought my last bag when I was looking at their FAQs, is shipping. So I have always had to pay for shipping from the RealReal from Rebag. I've also always had to pay for shipping from the RealReal, which is why it came to my mind. So whenever I bought from Rebag, I've always had to pay at least $20 shipping. When I bought my Birkin, because it was over $2,000, I had to pay $50 shipping. And I feel like when you're spending so much money on something, the shipping should just be free, or like work it into the price of the good. Just don't show me that I'm paying extra for shipping. I don't want to see that. I want to pretend like it's free. Let me live in this fantasy. I don't know what it is. It's like, you know, when you're checking out and you have $200 worth of your stuff in your bag, you really, really want it, and then you see that shipping is $10, you're like, I can't buy this. That $10, it sets me over the edge. You know, like I've definitely done that, and that's kind of how I feel a little bit with Rebag. Though, I will say that today is, I think it is August 23rd. So today is August 23rd, and according to them, standard shipping will take approximately 6 to 9 business days to arrive from the order date, and shipping is free for all orders above $500, and shipping is $20 for all orders below $500. Again, I bought a bag in July. I had to pay $50 shipping for my Birkin. I don't know if that's a Birkin thing or this is a new change. I hope it's a new change, because if it's a new change, then we can definitely go more towards the pro side on this than the con side, because I understand if a good is under $500, paying $20 shipping isn't bad. And if a good's over $500, it's free. I think that's great. So I hope that's the route they're going. But just so you know, my experience has been I've had to pay for shipping. Second con. And this is kind of a bad one if you're not sure about the good, and that is they have a short return policy. So, and it's kind of complicated. So first off, you have to do a written request to a specific email within 7 days of delivery of your good, as proven by the tracking number. You can also take it back if you live close to a store. If you are in California or New York, I think those are only places they have stores, you could take it back to the store. But if not, then you need to write into them and say, you know, hey, I'd like to return this good within 7 days. It used to be 3 days, so they definitely have improved, but it's still not as good as some other sites like Fashionphile, which is 30 days. And you don't have to write in, you just go on their website, free label, return it. Very easy. Items must be shipped back to Rebag no later than 2 business days from when the prepaid label was provided. So they do provide you a label, but the shipment fees will not be refunded, and if returned online, you are charged a $20 return fee. So if you're already paying for shipping there and back, you could be out easily $40, maybe more. If you're me and I had returned my Birkin, I think there's a Birkin restocking fee there used to be, and then on top of it, I would have had to pay about $70 shipping, which would have been a lot of money. I knew I wanted my Birkin, but you know, for someone who's a little more iffy, maybe Rebag isn't the site for you. And on top of it, you make sure you keep a proof of purchase for your return, because their returns are through UPS and you never know if it's going to go missing, and they specifically say that on here. And upon receipt of your return, you'll see a refund to your original payment method, regardless of reason for returning it, in 10 to 15 business days. So you can still return. That is still an option on this site. You just have to be careful, because there is definitely a process, and 7 days isn't a lot, and it's not quite as easy as some of the other sites. But then I know with like the Real, a lot of stuff isn't even returnable, so at least it's better than that, but it's not as good as Fashionphile's. Lastly, back to the bag. This little baby. So this bag came to me from the New York store. It obviously was in very good condition, but how it was packaged, not so much. It was just the dust bag was actually folded up inside of the bag. The bag was just in a plastic wrapping, and there was some tissue paper surrounding it, and the box was heavily damaged, which I'm sure wasn't Rebag. When I picked it up, this bag is very light. I was like, oh my God, there's nothing in it. Like, my bag was stolen. I was very worried. Luckily it was not, as the bag is right here. But it wasn't packaged as nicely as some of the other bags I've gotten. For example, my Birkin was in the box, surrounded by tissue paper, in the Rebag dust bag, with folded up in its own little dust bag, and everything was like the clochette and the lock and its actual Hermes dust bag, and then that was all nicely padded with all like, you know, the air paper, and it was just really secure in the box, while this was literally just banging around in the box. There was no stuffing in it. The only thing in it was the Rebag dust bag. So their packaging, I think, is hit or miss depending on where your item is coming from. If it's coming from a store, or if it's coming from more of like a warehouse, I've noticed different packaging. It even could just be different stores have different packaging. I would just say, especially with expensive pieces, like I bought Chanel from them and I bought Hermes, that they should really make sure they're packaging them well, because things definitely get damaged in transit. I mean, I just got a box the other day. My best friend is getting married, and we got our bridesmaids dresses from Beholden, and it went from being a very big wedding to a very small wedding, but we still decided to do our bridesmaids dresses, as she's still going to wear her wedding gown. And I got the box, and the box is like destroyed, like completely destroyed. Like, I'm shocked that the dress is still in it, because the box is completely open. So I feel like as we're having more and more struggles with shipping, I get more and more packages that are like completely falling apart. And so I feel like if you've got a good that's this expensive, at least if you put a ton of like packaging around it, the good is going to be safer even if the box is destroyed. And since I am not going to a store and I am buying online, I'd like to see the good that's so expensive be packaged really nicely. But overall, if you guys couldn't tell, I love Rebag. I've had a really great experience with them. I have never tried to return anything to them, but that's because I normally go to them and I'm looking at their really good deals, and I'm looking for a very specific bag I know I want. I don't browse Rebag as I browse Fashionphile as much, and that's because Rebag doesn't put up items as much as Fashionphile. From the FAQ section, I could tell that they put up pieces on Wednesday. So if you're looking for something new, check on Wednesday. But in general, they're not putting up things, you know, every couple of minutes like Fashionphile. I have found great deals on Rebag, as you guys saw with my Birkin. Their 10 to 15% off sales are amazing. I would highly recommend them. Also, I should have said this at the beginning, but this video is in no way sponsored. I have never gotten anything free from Rebag. I've paid for all of these items myself. Of course, if Rebag came to me and wanted to work together, I'd be like, of course, because I love them, but I have paid for all this myself. I would recommend them to a friend. I actually prefer them over The Real. And with Fashion File right now, Fashion File's prices have been insane, guys. I don't know if you've been checking pieces since kind of quarantine has started in March, but prices are just going up and up and up. And granted, I know so are the fashion houses, but I find Rebag to be much more of a deal. So lately I have been looking at bags and seeing them on Fashion File, I'll be like, ooh, and then I go to Rebag and I find them and I'll be like, oh, okay, it's a holiday coming up, so weekend, they always have sales on the weekend. Weekend coming up, can I get a deal? So I'm really liking Rebag. I find that their pieces are in really good condition. Please, of course, check all the pictures, check all the description stuff, see what it comes with, but overall, I've really liked Rebag. If you like these sort of videos, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video, which is twice a week on Sunday and on Wednesday. If you want to see how I style my bags, please make sure to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and my blog, all linked down below. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.